been a cycle. I tell you the truth. It's truly been a cycle. A cycle, a cycle, a cycle it has been. And I just want to say it's been one. So please know tonight I did a little studying, but I'm going to be honest with y'all. I really didn't study as much as I usually do for the cycle, just because it was a lot going on with family and having to take care of family and do what needs to be done for them. You know what I'm saying? But this topic is so important because I think we need to address some things. Not only address some things for our brothers and what this actually looks like to be a husband, but also address these issues for our sisters that think that they're just not the problem, that think that it's only the man, but it's actually we're added to a whole lot that they are doing and what is going on. We contribute to a lot of it. And now it's time for everybody to take accountability. Whether woman, man, masculine, feminine, however you want to put it, everyone has to take accountability. I think nobody wants to talk about it because no one wants accountability. So the women don't want the brothers pointing out what they doing wrong and vice versa. When it needs to be pointed out across the board with everybody, because it's a lot of righteousness going on everywhere throughout our community, just all over the world right now. So we're gonna get into this, and hoping some people will come on to assist with the meeting. But this is our Friday Holy Day meeting. Why do we say Friday is our holy day? Because Friday is the day where the first man was formed in flesh, and it was on a Friday that the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. So all over the world, it's a holy day. Today is a holy day, but it also starts the Sabbath day for those that are Seventh Adventists that practice the Sabbath for tomorrow. So it all flows in together. It all flows together. No one's right, no one's wrong. Everyone has right in what their faith base is and what they believe. So we get started with this. And here at the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're teaching them about your nationality and your divine creed, what that vast estate looks like, what that really means. Because so many people think this is a piece of paper and all of this, and that these papers that you could go file are the things that are going to answer all the questions in the world for you. But in all reality, they're not going to answer no questions for you, because all of this has to start with the work within yourself. So this is what the Moorish Science Temple of America is all about. Islam, Islam, Empress, Islam. But that's what the Moorish Science Temple is all about. It's about taking us back to our divine creed and our nationality so that we know that who we are and whose we are. So we're going to get started. Islam, Islam, Islam. Married to Islam, Islam. All means are to be open and closed according to the love, peace, justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We're going to turn to the east as going within. So we'll turn to the east, it represents going within self, because that's what this is about, the self-improvement movement. Nothing more than that. Islam. So we turn to the east is going within. We put up 5 fingers on the left, 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, Islam, Islam. So now I would like to rise and give honors. Because I'm on platforms, I can sit so I can engage more likes. So come on in, get those likes up, get the algorithms going so more people can come in and join that want to learn about themselves. It's about learning about who we are, because we think we're one thing and when we're really not that thing. So Islam. So I'd like to first rise and give the highest praises to our Father God Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Also giving high praises to Allah, the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Because around here, it's about the balance. The masculine and feminine has to go in operation together. One is not without the other. We need our brothers as much as they need us. Islam. So I want to rise and give high holy honors to our illustrious and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who brought us this message of love. Like to all the divine prophets that were brought before us and for all the wonderful works that they brought into us. I'd like to rise and give honors to the forerunner to our prophet, who was like John was to Jesus. And this brother said many things. It is like my utmost favorite quote from him is, the pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both. And that is our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey Bay. I give his Moorish attributes because he was the forerunner for our prophets to bring us our nationality and divine creed so that we would know who we are and whose we are. Islam. I like to rise and give honor to the complementary to the prophet, the founder, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and that is Sister Pearl Drew Ali. I want to give honors to all the grand sheiks, the grand sheikesses, the grand governors, the grand governoresses, all throughout the movement. Those that are anointed, appointed, and consecrated. I want to give honors to each and every one of you. And I give honors to each and every one of you that's on this platform or on these platforms here this evening. You could be in Islam, and may Allah be pleased with you. Islam. So now we ought to do us some house cleaning, y'all. Because with any organization or with anything, you have to have some kind of rules and regulations. This is why constitutions are important. And this is why the United States Constitution, will say America's Constitution, is so important. It's so important that we read it, that we understand it, that we're able to go to it when need be to exercise it. Because then when you do exercise the rights of that Constitution, you can't get away from it. So it's just like Moorish science. When Moorish science is the law, you keep going back to the law. You don't go off and say how they said it. No, you go straight back to the law. You go to that Circle 7. You go into this Constitution, and you get the foundation out of that. The Moorish Guide, the Moorish Civics Guide, like things like this are your pathway so that you know how to demonstrate in the correct way as a Moorish American Muslim. So you're not out here creating chaos and causing things that could create our nation harm. Islam. So we're going to get into Islam to everyone on here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you can heart this video, this live will come in just so you know they want to learn about who they are and whose they are. And that's what this is about. So tonight is about duty of a husband. That is the topic that we're going to talk about tonight. The duty of a husband, and also instructions for young men. Because the things that if we would stay in line with our culture and would have held on to the culture of our Moorish ancestors, then certain things wouldn't be in the way that they are today. Islam. So get into that tonight. I want you guys to kind of go and see what it's all about. Because it's time that we start taking accountability for the other, because you want to be held accountable for those things that you should be accountable for. So can you place your right hand over your heart as I do recitation to the law? Salvation, Allah, unity. The of America, the divine constitution and bylaws, Act 1, the grand and the chairman of the Moorish of America is in the making laws with the assistance of the grand body is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs. If he lives nationality are people and their creed. They may know they are impartial of this government and know that they are not Negroes, color folks, black people, or Ethiopians, etc., etc. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. I want to stop right there. Hey, love. Hey, cousin Islam. I'm going to stop right there for a minute because a lot of people don't really bring attention to this act here. And the only way that you will be able to be known, the only way that you can be known by the nations of the earth and the government in which you live is that you claim your nationality. That you claim your nationality the correct way, not the way they trying to pay you to go out and get yourself in trouble. That's not the way to claim your nationality. Nobody gives you freedom papers. This has to start with your mind first before it goes anywhere else. It has to start in the mind. Slavery, once it came off in 1865 and them chains came off, the chain went to the brain. So the brain still holds on to it. Our people are still conditioned to act in Negro, colored folk, black people operations. I could talk about one I said the hospital, taking my mother. You picking people up and yelling out the window. Now it's a bunch of Europeans, pale-skinned Europeans around. And I'm gonna be by the effing. Whoa! I know you see all these elders. Who you see, you got to see these elders. And all that I hear when I'm here, when people are acting in this Negro, black, and colored phase, all I hear everybody say is, they don't care. That is sad that you're that detached from your creator that you just don't care how you act, how you show up in the world. And to hear other people say they don't care, that means people have excused these actions for way too long. In the South, you still hear old ladies say, hey, watch your man. I'm confused. So the only way you be known, first of all, you got to do it in act, word, and deed. You got to come up out of that slave mentality, the black Negro enslaved mentality that's in your brain, and walk in here like you are a citizen, like you want the respect. It's just the way you show up. So we got to understand, we're talking on that Act 6. It's so scary because it's so paperwork to people telling them that they can give them freedom papers. And they ain't even showing them the correct way in demonstrating and how to go and claim your nationality, how you do that. Like no one's giving the references. People are just out here doing whatever. And this Moorish, this movement, this national and divine movement that the founder, Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought, is nothing to play with, y'all. This is play with. So you can't play with this like people play with other things. People try to, but it'll catch you. The fire will come up and catch behind you. For real, for real. So we got to concentrate. When y'all hear me speak on that Act 6, please listen. Listen, because there will be directions on how these things are done. But you definitely have to get with a temple so that you can do it the proper way so you don't get yourself in trouble. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm not here to gain on members. It's none of that. But if you're wanting to really exercise and demonstrate in the correct way, you have to get with a temple. You're going to have to get with a temple in your area that's not asking you for thousands of dollars that they give it to you. No, that are properly putting you in the right status, putting you in the right place, showing you the correct way of doing this thing. Okay, so that Act 6 is important, and so many people take it as a joke. They think because they just stand up and say, hey, I'm Moorish American, and I'm a Bay of No. This needs to be properly done, people, because you're playing with it. You are, and that's how so many have lost it, and that's how why it has gotten taken. Because information. attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school. And the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. Excuse me, my apologies. We're going to go back. I done messed that one up. All members must probably attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder. The Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam. Now for the recitation for the additional laws for Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh is the governing head of our temple. All business of said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before being acted upon by any member. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc. by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their ADAT meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second case, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion of the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother. Part of uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Islam. Prophet Ali is definitely a prophet. A prophet that was in the always coming. Believe it. Prophets come and go. The spirit just continues. The spirit just continues to live on if it can find a heart pure enough to do so. It's just not going to be anywhere and just going to anyone. So that's why you can have many false prophets. Many are called by his name, but it's so many false prophets out. But the way when you find out if that prophet is who that prophet really is, you can trace their steps. You can go back and you can trace back. You can see. Masterminds can trace themselves back, and you can see that the prophet went that way. Just in everything, act, word, and deed. So that's what this is all about. And tonight we are going to go in on this subject of duty of a husband. We're going to talk about this duty of a husband. We're going to talk about these instructions for young men. But we also going to talk about our sisters too, because this is what I want to say about that. Now, we know there was a time when, we didn't need the brothers. And people can disagree however you may want to disagree. Yeah. It was a time it was just us. And so we needed companionship. We needed protection. We wanted companions. We needed protection. There was work that needed to be done. Someone was coming to attack us, and the sisters weren't strong enough to do it. So they needed some protection. And we asked for the protection. We asked for our company. And so, with that being said, that's why a lot of us became boy moms. Because in order for, when a mother has a son, that's the best way that your lineage continues to go. He can carry the family name forever, right? So we become these mothers of sons, right? But now when things are going on in the world right now, we want to blame only the men. But where does it start? It has to start somewhere. You can't just be talking about because no daddy was at home. That's crazy. That's crazy. That has nothing to do with nothing. It really does not. But I do want to talk about the duties of our brothers, because as our brothers, it's a duty of a husband, period. Throughout this movement, whatever. Your sister in trouble, you're supposed to go to her aid. The movement mistreating the women and mistreating the sisters. There's nobody that knows order. No order at all. No matter how you look at it, it's no order. And we need order. We're gonna have to bring order back. It should be brought back. All right. So I'm going to go and read from this chapter. Okay, duty of a husband. So I'm going to start with duty of a husband first. That's where we're going to start. We still need, yes, we do. It is law, Mother Witherspoon. We still do need that protection. But you know, Allah says it, he says it best. That sisters got just as much protection today as a rabbit in a field with dogs chasing it. That's how much we have. That's how much protection we have. Boy, we've been the cause of this. I'm independent. That has caused such a stress on us, and this is why men don't want to step up. Men don't want to step up and be men, as we do right now. As I was watching this video, she's gonna expect you to be a man, and for the most part, a lot of women single that are great women. The reason why it don't happen, because we're gonna call you to be a man, and so you ain't gonna come this way because you can already see what it's about to be. So you feel it, you know what it is. But our brothers need to get it together, because that's a sorry excuse. but you just don't want to get it together. Islam. So I'm coming out of the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 22. So 22, that balance, two and two is a four. And remember, four is that foundational number. Four is the foundation. Four is the builder number. That's what four represents. So 22, 4. 4 is the only number that can mirror itself. No other number can itself but 4. No matter how many times it's going to continue to mirror itself. So chapter 22, duty of a husband. Duty of a husband. It says, take I'm great. That's the singular. If it did, and this is coming from Islam. This is Islam. Take unto thyself a wife. It don't say take unto thyself some wives, a few wives, a wife, and obey the ordinance. Because you remember one about foundation. 22. Balance. I'm talking about this balance, this frequency that we can we're frequencing on the same vibration. Islam. Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. We don't stop right there. Take unto thyself a wife. What you say, mama? Mama, what you say? We started it when we wanted to flow the movement of women's rights. We took away past. You so right. Oh man, ain't that the truth? We wanted these women's rights so bad that you want that independency. We've always had rights. So I'm trying to figure out where all that came from. Who didn't have them? Was it the other people that came over to this land that didn't have the rights? We always had the rights. As the mothers, as the matriarch, were the reason for how we never had rights. Who told us that? Who told us that? See how we just let people come and tell us something instead of checking the receipts to make sure it's the truth even then? The matriarch is the reason for the season, sis. To all my sisters and my brothers, the matriarch. It's crazy what we have going on. But the respect got to start with these women too, though. It got to start with them too. Is why. Okay. So when it says God choose thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society, you have to become a faithful member of society. See, be faithful. Yeah, I can be faithful in this, but you gotta first be faithful to Allah, because that faithfulness is gonna come out in everything else. If you can't even have obedience or your allegiance to Allah, then what is the point? Why are you involving people in your life, brothers? If you can't even obey His ordinance, obey the ordinance of Allah, and you become a faithful member of society once you take on a wife, not some wives, as I said, not some wives, not happening, but examine with care and fix not suddenly. So examine. So brothers, y'all have to learn how to examine these sisters with care. Then you get mad at your mom because maybe she ain't rocking with who you got, because you didn't examine with care. And we're very intentional. You must examine with care, brothers. This is why this needs to be taught to our young men at young ages. at 12, like literally hammering this in, and when they hit that 12-year-old state, that 12, get to start putting these lessons, these next 3 chapters in them. So you got to examine with care and fix not suddenly. Just because it looked good, because that's brother's problems, because it looked good. Oh, she's shaped like this. She looks like this. She the Holly Berry face. She the this face. She the that face. Be fixing so suddenly, and then when things ain't what you expected them to be, because you're so caught up on the carnal part of who she is, that you didn't take the time to examine her. You didn't take the time to really see what she was about. I was talking to my sons, 2 of my sons earlier, about arranged marriages and how my son worked with a couple in arranged marriage, and they're saying those marriages last longer. Now I've seen some where they were horrible, but I would have loved to be able to choose, arranged marriages for my sons, so that it was someone that came from, knowing they come from a good family and knowing their family and their history, like things like that were so important for our people before. But now we quick to fix suddenly on whatever come around. Our brothers just, ooh, she fine. She did. She got long hair. Her body shaped like that, and that's all they see. But they didn't even take the time to examine her with care. To see, do she got these issues? Is she dealing with trauma? Am I willing to take on this? Am I going to be willing to take on this with her? Am I going to be willing to work through her trauma with her? That's what we want to see. We just want to see the pretty face and the body. And then when the book opens and you start reading it, now she's crazy. She's this, she's that. But you didn't take the time to examine her. But then I got to go back to mamas and us teaching our sons what that's really about. So we both are responsible for this stuff. But this is the duty of a husband now. If much of her time is destroyed in dress and adornment, if she is enamored with her own beauty and delighted with her own praise, if she laugheth much and talketh loud, if her foot abideth not in her father's house, and her eyes with boldness rove on the faces of men. So, if it's just, how it could be, this giggle all the time, never really showing her true self. Talk loud, just loud. Like the lady I was talking about today, she just yells out the window, I'm going to be at the MFN door, out in public amongst the elders, and people going in and wonder why the Europeans talk about us and say the things they say. Look at the actions. When most of our people are out here acting Negro, black, and colored, and all these other labels, then that's why we're treated in the way we are, because we show up that way. Islam. And then it says if her foot doesn't abide in her father's house, meaning she's just from place to place doing things. Her eyes with boldness rove over the face. Oh my goodness. Oh, just the lustfulness is in her eyes. When the lust came in the brother's eyes, it was in their eyes. But our sisters, they be doing that too. They do it too. So, though her beauty were as the sun in the firmament of heaven, turn thy face from her arms, turn thy feet from her paths, and suffer not thy soul to be ensnared by the allurements of imagination. So don't get caught up and ensnared with them allurements of imagination because you're trying to undress her because she might not have covered up all the way. You know what I'm saying? I take it to my Nation of Islam sisters, my Moorish sisters, is Islam, any of the dress, the cover up, and all you see is face, just beauty. There's no way to lust. There's no way to look any other. You would have to examine her carefully. You would have to examine a woman like that because she's not showing everything out to the world. So you would have to take the time to examine this woman with care because you can't fix suddenly on her. Now you got to get up in here and really get to see what that's about what that conversation's about, what her morals are, what her principles are. This is why these lessons are important. And if I had them when mine were young, because I didn't get a hold of these lessons till mine were already pretty much grown. But I'm telling you, if this would have been at home with me, this has been a part of everyday homeschool for them. Because it's important when you're seeing that this is why the relationships are not lasting, marriages are not lasting, our people can't get along because there's so and we got to respect the order. And it takes other patriarch. So turn thy face from her charms, turn thy face from her past, and suffer the allurements of imagination. So don't get caught up in the imagination of it. But when thou findest sensibility of heart, joined with softness of manners, an accomplished mind, with a form agreeable to thy fancy, take her home to thy house. She is worthy to be thy friend, thy companion in life, the wife of thy bosom. Oh, cherish her as a blessing sent to thee from heaven. Let the kindness of thy behavior endear thee to her heart. She is the mistress of thy house. Treat her therefore with respect, and thy servants may obey her. Now, see, y'all hear mistress, and your mind goes somewhere else, and that's not what that's not what that's implicating right there. That's not what that's implicating right there. That's telling you that she's able to be all that you need her to be, the mistress of the house, all of that. You don't need more than one. Just one is enough. Islam, oppose not her inclination without cause. She is the partner of thy cares. Make her also the companion of thy pleasures. Reprove her faults with gentleness. Exact not her obedience with regard. Trust thy secrets in her breast. Her counsels are sincere. Thou shalt not be deceived. Be faithful to her bed. Well, hold up. We're going to go back because I wanted to speak on this. Trust thy secrets in her breast. Her counsels are sincere. Thou shalt not be deceived. So, sisters, when your brothers is coming to you, they secrets must stay there. You ain't supposed to go tell your friend, your homegirl. You're not. And believe me, I have been guilty of that. But you're not, because those secrets need to stay there. That's the trust that's you giving your man a safe space to be a man. Then we want to keep talking about what they're not doing, but you're not giving them a safe space to be that. No different that brothers ain't giving no woman no safe space to be who she is neither. To talk about that you don't, she's masculine. Well, come and take it away then. We're going to our feminine nature if you show up in the way you need to as a man, not no boy, not no pants with nothing in them. Not because you think you got a certain age on you, that don't make you no man. This duty of a husband. Duty of a husband, whether you somebody's man, husband, whatever. How about just being a man in general? Learning these foundations and these principles as a man in general. But sisters, your counsels are sincere. Allah trusted the woman with counsel. That's why we bear the children. We have the children. Even when you look at our laws, the brother, you got two duties, brothers. Y'all got two duties in this law. Two. Protect and provide. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Protect and provide. Wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, and look after the duties of your household. You already see the triple times the amount you got one assignment. One, brothers. One assignment. Support. But that protection, support up the ground for God, whatever that support looks like. But she's gonna take care of the duties. If she a wife, this is the difference. So, brothers, we was trusted to be the counsel. So you think, for once, our intuition don't mean nothing, and I say it all the time to my brothers. A woman's intuition is something a brother I feel is missing because we could be like, don't go there. I just don't think it's safe. I'm going there too. You're a man. Then as soon as something pops off, man, oh man, then they mad and whining and crying. But your woman, your counsel told you not to do it. That's why so many relationships fail too with these brothers. Because you'll have a good one. You'll have you a good one that's giving you good counsel, making sure you straight, taking care of the duties of the household, being an upstanding woman, being faithful to her mate. Y'all, the lust in your eyes go around when you know you already got what you need at home. That's why he says take on a wife. Hey, I don't see nowhere where it be saying take on as many wives as you want to. I don't see that. First of all, brothers, y'all have to get your mind right first. How you gonna have all these women and want all these relationships when you can't even get you of you? What are you doing? And after you've done it, you're going to come back and ask me again, well, what should I study? Yourselves. Yourselves. Because you have a higher self and a lower self you got to study. Our brothers, y'all don't want to do it. You don't want to study yourself. Sisters, y'all don't want to do it neither. It's to her bed. She's the mother of your children. So you shouldn't be out in this one and sleep. You shouldn't be doing all that. Be faithful to her bed, for she is the mother of thy children. You should have enough respect for womanhood to respect that. You should have enough respect for your brothers. Your temples are just please. She need to respect yours too. It ain't just about her. What about you? What about you respecting your temple? Our brothers don't do enough of it. So that's why they'll lay up with anyone. And now what we see in the remnants, and I'm not even trying to be funny about this when I say this, y'all, but it's the truth. I look at some of the brothers I went to school with, like people been in high school with, grew up with from elementary all the way through, right? And they could have been my boyfriend. They probably was my friend's boyfriend when they got here. Everybody else's boyfriend, but everyone that grew up with them done ran through them. Right? Because they think they running through the sisters. But in all actuality, you got ran through. So now you got to go to another state or find someone that just got here in order so they don't see the true you. Now you can find a new person to lie to. But if they only knew. So brothers, y'all no different than these women. While you talking about they got the bodies, but y'all run through too. Y'all left over. That's right now. Y'all been ran through. Excuse me for saying it, sisters, but it's the truth. They've been ran through. When her affliction, her grief. You haven't been sick or any of that, man, I can tell you. You'll take care of everybody else, and then when you're sick, it's kind of like I gotta man up and do it on my own. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not there. But at least when she's not feeling good, y'all, like, come on, yeah, her just like we're gonna be right. How can I? Showing some kind of love, not even coming at them and everything. This is I'll never point out what he's actually doing right. To where then he can accept your criticism when he's doing wrong. But when you constantly telling him he's doing wrong, he never sees any good in himself. So how can he be that man? if you're not speaking even to that greatness in him. As long towards you, showing any kind of, like love, like any, like for real, it could be the simplest things with a lot. Well, I don't know. Some women maybe not, but I'll speak for myself. It could be a small gesture, and that will alleviate grief, mitigate my pain, and be a more available than 10 physicians. It's just all how you show up. Islam, consider the tenderness of her sex, the delicacy of her frame, and be not severe to her weakness, but remember thy own imperfections. So, brothers, even when y'all out here talking about what a woman doing and she's doing this and she got bodies and all of that, right? You gotta remember your own imperfections. Because you got those too. You forgot that soul went with you too. So even once all the souls that went with you, that you done laid up with somebody else, and them souls done went into that person. It's no respect to person just because you have an extra leg down there that you ain't gonna get caught up. The soul still does transfer, brothers. It still does transfer. So you just as ran, if anything, you more ran through. Islam. So you gotta remember your own imperfection. Don't be trying to talk about a sister being a this and a that, because what about you? What are you doing? And have you showed up in a way? Have you showed up in a manly way to where she wants to shift the way her energy is? Because I'm telling you, a real man can enter a room and women, sisters, is gonna sit up straight when a real man enters the room. Now, if you ain't no real man, then they probably slouching. No different than the brothers hold their head down when a real woman enters the room, because you know you can't approach her because she's about to make you be a man. You're gonna have to man up and be a man with her. Well, it goes the same way. When a real man enters the room, we sit up straight. Poise, everything is different. And we can sense it. No different than, I guess, men can sense us. When you a true woman and you enter a room, right? And that's what happens. So the duty of a husband is deep, y'all. It's deep. Most of our brothers, they're not stepping up to this, but if we were able to teach our babies, and I mean, even if you can start reading it to them in the womb, as soon as they're able to start speaking, should say this, should be able to read this to them, get it in them, use the hammer till it becomes a part of every part. We use tools in the workshop of the mind where things are made of thought and where we build up character. So that's why that's important. So do you teach them that? I always talk about the holy instructions for the children. That's where the 12-step ladder exists. And if you teach these children this 12-step ladder, starting at the age of 12, because remember, bar mitzvahs and quinceañeras belonged to the Moors first. They were doing that a long time ago before it went how it went. So see, if we were still in the custom and cultures of our people, I feel our relationships would be better. Our families would be tighter. We've lost it. Everybody wants to go to their own church and do their own thing. So the family dynamic split up so bad that everybody started doing their own thing. And when at one time, everybody went as a family. I don't care if they all lived on one block. Grandma ready to go. Everybody else coming out to follow Big Mama to church. Doing as a family, as a unit. And it was about who your family is. Ain't nobody, or you're just not coming to date nobody's son, because the first thing they about to ask you is who's your people. And if your people don't have a good name throughout, Oh, you probably ain't gonna be messing with them. Most likely, you ain't rocking with them. Because you ain't gonna take the blood over in this family. That's the way they will be looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get caught up with this person and then something happens, and that means, guess what? We're gonna be cursed with that. Islam, because the one you have to remember when it came to the Moabites, when they said that they were barren, it wasn't the sister that was barren, though. It wasn't. The brother's seed was no good. The sister was good because she went to Boaz and she was able to produce a child. So who really had the curse on their seed, right? Who really was it? Because when man fell, he snatched us with him. When man fell, so it started making me look at this circle 7 in a different way. Because certain parts it says she, wisdom, she speaks on high, knowledge, she, holy breath, she. These things, they take you back to the matriarch of the mother. But it's telling, saying he must watch. Teach him obedience. Teach him gratitude. Him. Masculine energy. Mama got to show up and teach you this. So how could you ever think that the woman wasn't here first? I'm confused. Because even in our instructions, this is what we're saying, holy instructions for thy children. It don't say holy instructions for thy children from the daddy. It don't say holy instructions for thy children from the mama neither. They're holy instructions for thy children. Because we're all responsible for this. So our children can learn how to love instead of hate. Obedience, gratitude, modesty, charity, temperance, prudence, justice, sincerity, diligence, benevolence, science, religion. You got to teach them these 12 steps to life. Like a 12-step program, like an AA. Like an AA. That's what it's more or less like. This is a 12-step program to get yourself together, brothers. So going back and actually reading into this so that you can give yourself these instructions too, because they're important. They're very important for what we need right now in this day. We're going to talk about how our brothers ain't protected. How our brothers are just, our youth is out here fooling because our brothers refuse to be real men and stand into the affairs of man and get into the seats of power so they can change the things because they want to be lazy. That's why I say support. It says the brother, husband, support your wife and children. So whatever that means, if that means you got to stand up in the affairs of man and become the city councilman, the senator, the mayor, make it happen. Make it happen. Because see, if you would stand up and be a leader, we have no problem following. We have no problem following. But y'all lazy in leadership. The leadership lazy. How are we supposed to follow slothfulness? Ain't that a deadly sin? Y'all have to follow y'all's deadly sin. Talking about, well, she ain't gonna submit. Well, who are you submitting to? That's always my question to a brother when he steps. Well, who you submitting to? Who is your allegiance to? Because if it's not what Allah, you might as well keep going. Because I don't need nobody that his God today ain't his God tomorrow. Or you get to name the part of God that you like. I want to be his foot today. Tomorrow I'll be his chest. I don't need that. I need for somebody to be consistent with this thing. Take this thing just as serious as I do. Because other than that, we can't work. I don't care how cute it is, how you look. I'm not going to fix suddenly on you because you're fine and you look like that. Nah, I need to examine you carefully too, brothers. No different than y'all need to examine these sisters carefully. Then you can stop complaining ain't no good women. Then you can stop complaining ain't no good man. We fix so suddenly on somebody because of what they got, what they look like, what kind of car, look at his shoes. Like, I ain't even sat down and had a whole conversation. Because the one you keep turning your face on probably give you the best conversation love you to the extreme. But this one that you keep wanting to follow behind and he ain't answering your phone call and you going dropping your stuff for him every time he calls. Never committing to you, never giving you anything else. Islam, hey cousin, never giving you anything else. And all he gotta do is go buy you a meal or pay a bill. Honestly, to me, that's prostitution. If that's all a man gotta do is give you some money, then you're prostituting, sis. Where is the integrity in you anymore? As women, the integrity. Everything's for a bag. Everything's for a meal, for some red bottoms, for this, for that. But then a lot of our sisters ain't bringing nothing to the table for these brothers either. And I have 4 sons, and I got plenty family members that are males. So a lot of women ain't bringing nothing to the table for these brothers. And they bringing everything to the table because they were raised by some great women. They actually have some great mamas that instilled in them some real morals and principles to show up and be real men. But now on the flip side, we got people that have raised their children to not be that. And so the ones of us that have raised these decent children to go out into this world, hard for them to even find anybody. Because either those women, those girls, their mama is just as trash as anything else. I ain't just putting it on the daddies, because a lot of these women out here, I ain't saying all, not saying all, but it is a lot of them that just want to have these babies so they can go cash a check or use the baby against them. Never that you're trying to create a family. And that's what this is about. A lot of these women are out here pushing them men away from their household when these men do want to be fathers, when they do want to show up as the duty of a husband. But I guess if you ain't never seen that, you don't even know what that look like. That's why I always ask, who taught you how to love? Who taught you that? Because your actions, words, and deeds show nothing but hate. It don't show love. Amen. Islam, cousin. It does not show love. And brothers, I'm tired of y'all using these women. I am tired of it. Because you have some amazing women out here doing amazing things. And y'all come into their life just to destroy it. Because you know that's a good woman. Because there's ones out there that prey on the women, the real women. And they want to show up like, yeah, I'm a man. 6 months later, that representation is out the door. Nah, I need consistency. Let me see how consistent you can be for 6 months. How consistent are you with checking in with your children? Do you see your children? Do you spend time with them? Like, what's your lifestyle like? Because you just ain't about to be up over here up under me when you have them. It's not popping. And even when they are grown, still you need a relationship with your children. Because that's going to show me what type of family man you are. A family person. You ain't got your family. We can't rock that way neither. So stop looking at things and fixing so suddenly on these relationships, brothers and sisters. Examine with care. Examine. Go meet the mama. Go have dinner. Sit down and see how they live. Are they clean? Are they nasty? I mean, what's their conversation at the dinner table? Do people ask how your day was going, or they just pass each other and everybody go to their room to eat? Nobody sits down and have no family time. That's what you do with. You know what I'm saying? That's going to tell you what you're dealing with. So I want to talk about disobedience of children toward their fathers. Because we still talk about these brothers. Like I said, this circle 7 is him. And I started saying to myself, why is so much emphasis on he and him? Why is there so much emphasis on this? Why is there so much emphasis on he and him? Because the reason why it's so much emphasis on he and him, like Like I told y'all, come on, y'all. He and him. The reason why it's so much emphasis on he and him is because the brothers fell, y'all. The brothers fell first and snatched us down with them, with everything else. With everything else. So we're going to talk about the obedience of children towards their father. That's chapter 24. From the secrets of Allah, let man learn wisdom. From the secrets of Allah, let man learn wisdom. I told y'all, wisdom is the woman. In chapter 1, it talks about wisdom, right? And it says right here, wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Wisdom, will, and love, mother. The harmonies of life. You know what I'm saying? That breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Like it's so much in here. But you gotta, like it says from the secrets of Allah, let man hear with wisdom and apply to himself the instruction they give. It sounds like specific instructions is coming from our brothers. That this is why they really don't like for us to unfold into these lessons. Because now, as mama starts to unfold the lessons, as the sisters start to unfold the lessons, we start to see the brothers just been showing up as representatives and not being real. They showing up for show. Because everywhere I'm looking, it sounds like we're correcting y'all. It sounds like some correction going on. It sounds like mama correcting her son. That's what it sounds like to me. I told y'all this was this last Friday, I believe, about the young stork. Whenever I was talking about the children and, you know, why our youth being so out of hand and the things happening. And it says, because these things need to take place, because these are the obedience of children toward their fathers. Go to the desert, my son. My son, go to the desert, my son. Instructions for our sons. Instructions for our brothers. They ain't following instructions, y'all. They refuse to follow these instructions. So they show up and they make excuses for everything. Islam, sweet Islam. I want you to come on here. Islam. And they, you know what I'm saying? It's the excuses they make for me. It's the excuses they make for me. How do I get you to come up here? I must have to figure it out. The stork of the wilderness. Let him speak to thy heart. He bears on his wings his age sire. He lodges him in safety and supplieth him with food. Y'all don't want these instructions because it's holding you guys accountable. Virtue can add reverence to the bloom of youth. Islam. I wish you could come on here because, honey, I've been needing you to demonstrate like what you said. I've been needing her to demonstrate what she said. See if you can ask to come on, Shira, because I'm confused on how to pull you up here for real. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see if I can't get her. Dang, how do I go into the chat? Hold on. If I can't get her link, we'll just do it like that. There we go. So maybe she could come on now. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but we're gonna see if she. Okay, she's gonna try because she's been saying some really amazing. Yes, on TikTok. Yes, I am on TikTok. She's been saying some really amazing things when it comes to breaking these lessons down and really about our brothers and what is really going on with them, and that we watch them argue all the time. All they do is talk about who's right, but no one's taking accountability and no one's stepping up to the plate to be in the affairs of men. No one stepping up to the plate to be in the affairs of men at all. Um, so as it says, he supplied his father with food. You hear it say with he's doing it. The piety of a child is sweeter than the incense of Persia offering to the sun. Yeah, more delicious than odors wafted from a field of Arabian spices of the western gals. Yes, yes, of the western gals. Be grateful to thy father, for he gave thee life, and to thy mother, for she sustained thee. You remember the father, that's that electricity. That helps that egg. That's why I say we need each other. Forget all this. It ain't this. No, we need each other because the father helps too. The father can set the household in order where the children learn to love instead of hate. The mother, they may learn to love instead of hate because her sternness may not be as stern as the father. Islam may not be as stern as the father. Hear the words of his mouth, for they are spoken for thy good. Give ear to his admonition, for it proceedeth from love. He has watched for thy welfare. He hath toiled for thy ease. Do honor therefore to his age, and let not his gray hairs be treated with irreverence. Do not let his gray hairs be treated with irreverence. Your father, your father, your father. Brothers, you treat your father right. I think things could go a little better. Instead of talking about which issues you have with your father. Go study the stork and see how he works, and maybe in doing that, that can help you shift in becoming the real man that you should be. Islam? Instead of blaming your father for everything you went through and how bad it was. Because guess what? If he didn't lead you down that path, and if you didn't go down that road, you wouldn't be who you are today. No matter how good or bad it is, you would not be who you are today without that. At all. You just wouldn't. So we have to understand that when it comes to the mother and the male and the female, the masculine and the feminine, we all have a duty, y'all. It's social duties we have. And you brothers have to stop running from your social duties, especially in this Moorish American movement. Y'all have to stop running from your social duties. Because if you were standing, we stand with you. But when y'all ain't standing how we supposed to stand, just alone all the time, your mother brought you here, so a woman has always been a part of your life. So don't excuse that. You got here through a woman. No matter how much your mama might have did or what she would have did, it has no excuse. You here. That's the vessel that got you here. Be grateful for that vessel. Be grateful for your vessel that got you here. It may not be the best, but you're here, and you have a duty. You have a purpose. And no matter how much we might try to run from this purpose and this duty, we're going to come back till we get it right. So let me just go on and put it out there for you. You don't get it right this time, you'll be back. Period. You're going to get it right, though. You have to. It's too much going on in the streets that we, as the sisters, can't handle on our own. We can't handle on our own. I hope you're coming over here, Rashara, because I really wanted you to give I wanted you to give us a demonstration on what you've been talking about, because it's been so great. It's so great, so great, so great. I want to talk about also, I'm looking for this chapter where it talks about what your mother and father give you. I believe it's the soul of the man. Yes, it is. So the soul of man, I call it Solomon. The soul of man, Solomon, the solo man. So the blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of these is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. That thou has a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truth, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it perfectly. It is inscrutable. That means it's impossible to understand. The soul is impossible to understand. So don't try to understand it like so well. Like thinking, understanding, reason, will, cause these not there is active, but there is essence. Raise it not too high that thou be not despised. Be not thou like unto those who fall by climbing, neither debase it to the sense of brutes. Nor be thou like to the horse and the mule, in whom there is no understanding. So your thinking, understanding, and then reasoning. If your thinking and understanding is off, your reasoning and willing for doing things is completely off. Man's telling you and what to follow, but literally you are unfolding this for yourself. You're studying so your thinking can be in line. You're studying so your understanding can be in line. You're studying so your reasoning and willing. So everything that you're doing in life, it's making sense. You're not doing it based off of because somebody's telling you to do something, right? That's not what you're doing. So that soul is important, but you got where did you get all this from? Like, how did you get it? Who gave all this to you? Right? Who gave you this inconstancy? Because even when you're looking at the soul of man and it's saying what it's saying by not, the soul and not trying to know it perfectly and the thinking, understanding, raise it not too high. But we have so much inconstancy in us too. We have a lot of inconstancy. We're inconsistent with things. I know at times I can be so inconsistent, y'all. Oh my goodness, where I'd be like, get it together. I'd be like, okay, we got to get up and we got to do this. And sometimes I'll make an excuse for it. Can't do that. Can't do that. I got to be constant. I'm working on my consistency. But that inconsistency is serious because nature urges me to inconstancy. Nature urges me to be inconstant. Oh man, therefore guard thyself at all times against it. Thou art from the womb of thy mother, various and wavering. From the loins of thy father inheriteth thou instability. How then shalt thou be firm? Now you see, it's pointed both of us out, mama and daddy. Mama, she gave you your various and wavering ways, all that emotion. And your father, you inherited his instability. Man is logic, we're emotion. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. How then shall thou be firm? How can you be firm if you got wavering ways? You picked them up from your mom, various and wavering. I see you got to look at the seeds that you planted. Now that your children are older, do you see the harvest? You got to see the harvest. And sometimes we don't like the way the harvest looks all the time. Sometimes them doggone, some of them roots didn't do so well. Some of those leaves is falling off, turning black and mold. You know what I'm saying? But we got to see what is it that we contributed to that. Because I say that and I go, dang, I wish I wasn't so emotional. Dang, I wish I could have did this. Because we're various and wavering. Because our emotions is all over the place when we're pregnant. So of course, various and wavering it is. You're so right. With that instability of that father. That's because nobody's calling him to be man. Nobody wants to stand up and be a man. I feel the last of the men went out before the Vietnam War. When the Vietnam War came, that's when no men were there anymore. The man was obsolete. It was no man. He might have been there. When he came back, he was physically a man, but mentally he had been stripped of everything. So how was he coming back to teach anyone how to be a man? when he was already screwed up in his own head. They had already messed our brothers, our fathers, our brothers, our uncles. They had already screwed them up by the time they got back. So really, they took their manhood away. They controlled their minds. They took their mental. And so they didn't come home and they couldn't be men. Look how they treat our veterans now. These people have put their life on the line for this place. And to not have a place to live, a meal to eat, them should be the last people worry about anything. No mental health help out here in the world for them. But they gave their life for this place. And they didn't even get to come back and get the proper treatments that they needed so they could show up for their family. So they could show up and be the men that needed to be, that we need in the community today. Because those war veterans, their children turned into gang members. So it went from the war veteran dads fighting war to their sons fighting in the streets of America against one another. This is where we're at today. But our brothers don't want to stand up. They refuse to take accountability. But y'all did it. Girl, I wasn't out banging in the street. Girl. Y'all did it. The killing of one another. The brutality against one another. You know, there's a series out called Them. If y'all ain't seen it, you should go and watch it. Now, it is deep. I don't know how some of y'all will take it. But if you even understand, as Moorish American Muslims or anyone that's into spirituality, watching this thing in the way that it's going down and the things that are taking place. Very emotional watch, let me say it. The message that you're getting out of it. And they don't realize how attached a spirit can be to a place, a person, a thing. Totally. Where you'll take on these energies. That's why you're around, listen to what you watch. Because do you realize a lot of this stuff that they're doing, rituals on you through the movies, through the concerts, through all of that. They're doing these things so they're controlling your mind. So they can set trauma in your head. You didn't even think you had no trauma. But they can set trauma in your mind. This is what they're showing. They're showing the shock therapy that was taking place back in the, what was that, 1800, whatever it was. Anyway, there was a group of us that moved from the South to California, and it was called West Compton. They drove these people crazy. They were Asian families. The others had just come back from you know, moving their families from the South to the West Coast to get away from the colonizer, more or less, but not really getting away from the colonizer, but away from them. So they get there. They're the only Asiatics in their whole neighborhood. So the other people are literally, when I say traumatized, terrorizing these folks, terrorizing them. Sit out in front of the house with their chairs and cigarettes and loud and just sitting in front of the house, trying to get them to weep. Well, there was a spirit that was in the basement because this place was at one time, it was a, I want to say either an Amish community or a Quaker community. But they had come from somewhere. I forget where they came from, and they came over here, and they were there. So there were two Asiatics that come onto the farm or come onto where they were, right? And so it's a husband and a wife. Their wagon breaks down. So they tell him, we're going to fix your wagon and let you go. You know, he's the preacher man or whatever. He's like, no, you know, this is what we're supposed to do. So you really think he's activating love? Because he seems to be. Well, he already had his trauma. Son got killed or something. Something happened with his child. So he was looking for a child. So he finds this little boy and he gets him and he becomes his child. Like I said, you got to examine things, examine them carefully. Because he didn't even realize what he was putting himself into. So he thinks because he carries the Bible, he's the pastor or the minister of the whole town or whatever. And he just, he's good. And he don't realize this spirit that he just picked up off the ground is coming into him. It's becoming a part of him. So as he thinks he's speaking from the Bible text, it's the little boy giving him text through what he's like the energy exchange. So I say spirits can move in the way they do. Ain't no barrier to it, right? So he's doing that, and so he tells them that they're supposed to be their slaves. That's their property. So now this husband and wife, she's pregnant, becomes the property of these. So when that happened, the brother went to dig. They were digging a well and couldn't get to no water. And the same day he was there, they was like, "Do you think you could dig and get to the water?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I can get it. You just got to go a little bit further." Like we talk about in the Circle 7, it talks about the miner that went past the man in the barren field and told him, like, if you dig up under that rocky soil, there's treasure under there. More or less, that's what this was given. If you just go a little deeper, the water under there. And he got to the water, and they was like, "Oh my God, he's magic. Oh my God, what kind of ritual did he?" Now all of a sudden he's black magic or whatever's going on, what they're thinking in their head. So then the wife is sewing with the sisters, with their women. How you learn how to sew? She's like, "My mom." Because these are things that we always have, a part of who we are anyway. And so next thing you know, they're mad because they done came into this room, and now the little boy done told them the scripture from Ezekiel or something. It's something about the property. So now they said, "No, but the Bible says this. The Bible says." So now they got them caught up. So now they done took them out. Well, anyway, they burned down the whole town. That town, like I said, be careful what's on top, because we so quick to want to go live in the fancy new built areas with the new houses, because we don't want to go to the dilapidated homes. But you don't know what's been under that house, because all that was under there was evil in that whole neighborhood, under all them houses. So that energy was reflecting on those people. They couldn't even find enough love in their heart to just love a family that wasn't bothering nobody. They weren't bothering nobody. They were burning their yard, putting dolls hanging all over. Like, it was crazy. But I say that to say, you just don't know how spirits move. That's why you got to pay attention. You got to examine everything carefully. Your relationships, the places you go, be more mindful of it. Because I'm telling y'all, something else. So that instability of that father and the waveringness of the mother. Those who gave thee a body furnished it with weakness. So mama and daddy furnished our bodies with weakness. But he who gave thee a soul, armed thee with resolution. Employ it, and thou art wise. Be wise, and thou art happy. So we got our body from our mother and father. The soul and the spirit comes from somewhere else. Right? A lot. We got our soul, our spirit. He gave us resolution for these things, so that we wouldn't be so caught up in our carnal flesh. We wouldn't let this body just dictate to us what it wants to do. That's how we have fallen so short too, because we do allow our bodies to dictate what we do. We allow our bodies to do it. Ooh, I'm going to put this on. Maybe he'll want me more. See, you're allowing your body to dictate. Not mind, but your body. So we got to use this resolution he gave us. This is why we got to employ the soul. Employ it. Make it work. Make it do its duty. Put the soul to work. Let him who doeth well beware how he boasteth of it of his own will. That's true. To me, when you do well, you ain't got to boast about it. You ain't even got to say nothing. People don't need to, I mean, just be you. I'm sure they can see it when you show up in your authentic self. It ain't got to be based on the way you dress or nothing. It's just the way you show up. It's the energy you give. You ain't got to boast of it because rarely is it of your own will. You did that off of somebody else's will because you want to be seen by somebody else. Brothers, y'all only go out and buy cars and do the things for each other. Women, we're simple, honestly. Well, real women, let me say that. Because there's a lot of our sisters out here, they just do that for each other. They're not doing it for no man, because I done heard brothers say that to me. Oh, these BBLs and stuff, y'all do that for each other. We don't like that. All this hair, y'all do that for each other. We don't like that. But brothers do that for each other too. He go out and get a car because his homeboy got a car. Oh, now he need a new car. Now he got a one up him. His chain, his this, his that. Y'all do that for each other. Y'all do that to get off with each other. I'm telling you, you just showed up as a man in your authenticness. You get more game. Y'all think that it's the show stuff that the woman's attracted to when all you doing is showing off for that next dude. Brothers, that's it. You get the fast car because you're trying to impress the brothers. You ain't trying to impress no sister. Not in real life. And sisters the same. Sisters the same. So, we need to put our soul to work. We need to put our soul to work. And make sure what we're doing is the will of ourselves. It's not somebody else. It's not somebody else's will. It's not somebody else's reasoning. Because then you're on their thinking and their understanding. You're only going for their thinking and understanding. You're not even using your own thoughts, your own brain. We always want somebody to think for us. We waiting for somebody to come tell us. Instead of taking the positions ourselves. Instead of taking on things ourselves. I watch it even now being here, right now in Colorado. I'm watching my Mexican brothers and sisters, because that's my family. I'm watching them go in and out the farmer's market with a bunch of vegetables. It's just the difference in seeing them. You see them, they're selling the water on the corner here. They're selling oranges on the corner. They're doing whatever it's going to take to sustain themselves. They're not waiting for somebody to come on TV and say, hey, you're free. Hey, we got your free papers. Come get them. They out there figuring out how to make it on their own, because a beggar nation can never have anything. And do we not understand, as Black, Negro, colored folks, African American, we the most beggarest people in the world. The most beggarest. And I gave y'all the definition of Black. If y'all didn't get the definition of Black and white, go back and watch it. It's on TikTok. The reason why we shouldn't be calling ourselves that. Because it denotes to everything bad. It denotes, and it specifically says denotes. But when we go to white, it's the most beautiful, it's purity. But then it also says it has a nationality. And that nationality, if you're the original people of Europe, which Europe did not only have pale-skinned people. We was in Europe too. Who civilized it? We did. Original people of Europe, the original people of North Africa, the original people of the Middle East. The last I checked, those people are about our complexion and darker. So where'd that come from? Why are we calling us these things and then want to know why, when we show up in the way we do, why people say that to us? Because even in this show, the thing said they can't sell a house to Negro blood. You're not a Negro. Didn't I just tell you you ain't no Negro? You see how they put the chains on the minds? So then people were like, wait, what's that say? That say you can't sell to us. We a Negro blood. Who told you was a Negro though? Who said that? You got to stop thinking everything Master say is what it is. So each one that went to these neighborhoods, because they put different Asiatic families in different neighborhoods in Compton, where it was just they would be the only family on that block, and they were all being terrorized. To the point, one lady got terrorized so bad she took out her whole family and ended up in a crazy home. That's how crazy they drove her. But because that is the mentality, you see how the mind can get, and they play within people's minds. These niggers, they were calling them all this throughout the show, y'all. And I'm like, whoa. Everybody wanted a reaction. But what it's showing you is the weakness of the mind, how weak your mind can be. Because you're not thinking on your own. You're not understanding for yourself because you didn't do no kind of research. So your reasoning and willing is off. You're detached from your soul. The biggest sin we could ever did is deny our forefathers and foremothers. So that's denying our nationality. The biggest sin we could ever did is calling ourselves Black, Negro, Colored, Ethiopian, African American, and ETC, whatever else they want to name us. That's the biggest sin. You turned away from your own people. You turned away from your own ancestors. Gave and did and brought all of this here. We brought the mathematics, the medicine. We brought all that. They never brought anything. I'm walking through the hospitals here right now. Not a one of our face on the wall. Well, where's the man that did the first open heart surgery? He was a brother. Medicine, Imhotep. Why he ain't on the wall? Because they never brought no medicine. We always knew the medicine. We can go outside and pick up the medicine. If we take ourselves back to who we are, we do everything that our ancestors did. And we can be greater because Jesus even said that. I came to show you the possibility. What I do, you can do too, even greater. Even greater. We don't want to be great. We don't want to be great. We want somebody to come and hand us a piece of paper to tell us now we have the permission to be great. Instead of getting out here and being great on our own. We want to beg for their jobs. We want to, because that's acceptance. Even in this series, the daughter wanted to be accepted so bad she went and put white paint all over her body. Acceptance. The dad, he wanted this job so bad. He the only brother in the job and they treating him like he is the trash boy. And he's an engineer. Acceptance. When we should be built, we have the opportunity. We could do it on our own. He was the only Asiatic brother as an engineer in this place. Because no one else could be as smart as him. Any movie you see where it's the sisters or the brothers, you calling them in because none of y'all are smarter than them. And they're going to have to come and show you, and now you're going to want the credit for their work. And we're continuing to do these things. We build these businesses for these people. That's their dream. That's their dream. I don't care whether it's from Amazon to whatever. That's their dream. What's your dream? What do you imagine to have in me? Because like I just said, immigrants or non-immigrants, Mexican, whatever you want to call them, they figure out their own. Yeah, they may go for assistance, but you can best believe they hustling on the side. They painting houses. They ain't going to school to paint just to learn how to paint. They going to school to learn how to paint, so they going to get their own business. They going to work with the man on the construction site, not to stay with him forever, so he could go get his own business, go get him a van, a truck, whatever. I know that's where let me tell y'all something. I know that's where my work ethic comes from. It comes from the Mexican side of me. Because I'm always trying to figure out how can I make some money if I ain't got none. Which way? Let me see. What do? I can make a t-shirt. I do like so many things because God gives us gifts. These hands are gifts. These are the hands that Allah blessed. I call these the hands that Allah made because they could do this thing. They could create. They can make. This is why this is here. He gave us these as a tool to create and make. Islam? Because who made you? Honestly, you did. Allah. But you, Allah, made you. The Allah in you made you. Everything he gave us as a tool to use it. As a gift. He gave us gifts in our hands, y'all. Gifts that we're supposed to go out into the world and give and create a way of life. Create what we need for ourselves. Not waiting for somebody to give it to us. That's something we truly have to stop with our brothers and our sisters. Because once we can learn to stand on our own, then we'll stop with this badgering of one another. Of that the brother ain't doing this right and the sister ain't doing this right. Well, how about both of us need to be checked? But brothers, we need y'all to really be checked. Y'all got to come on. Because in real talk, we really can't make no move without you. And we can let go of the masculinity if y'all showed up as men. Give us a safe space. Hey, give the receipts. Don't talk about what bills you paid or what you did to take care of the house. If you see the grass need to be cut, cut it. I shouldn't have to say nothing. If you see that there's no groceries in the refrigerator, I shouldn't have to say nothing. Support. Support. Back when we go to the grocery store, we need some things. You can chime in. You can help out. I see we ain't got this, and that. How about be a teammate? A helpmeet. That's what we're supposed to be. So where you see things are lacking, don't wait for me to say something to do it. Just do it. That's what men do. They see the trash gotta go, they take the trash out. They don't wait for somebody to say, do you see the trash overflowing? That's not what real men do. Let me tell y'all, because I be in some households when I'm traveling to my clients. They got some real men and some husbands. Trash going out there. I gotta go to Home Depot. I gotta fix that patch in the wall. Yep, I gotta put that fence up today. Even though they out getting all the money too, they bringing home the bacon, but they still making sure that that house is in the foundation. Whatever needs to be done in that house, that is right for their family. Because while he's gone to work, he needs to make sure that that family and that house is protected. So yeah, we got to get to it. Brothers, I'm not done discussing y'all. I just can't wait till my sister Bashira, however we gonna get her on here. We gotta have this discussion. We gotta have this discussion because it's major and it's holding us back. It is what is creating this movement to be just not where it should be. And it's been over 100 and something years. And we've watched other people take this movement and do what they please with it, or take bits and pieces from it and do what they please with it. But we're never gonna get anywhere. I don't care if you belong to an organization and they still calling you black, Negro, and colored. It's a problem. Because a lot of these big organizations got their knowledge from Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And they know that you're not black, Negro, and colored. And that's the one thing that's holding you back, holding us down, because we're not moving as a nation of people. We can't be calling ourselves different stuff as a nation. Chinese don't be talking about blue Chinese. They don't be saying that. They Chinese and they gonna stand up with each other. Japanese too. Stand up with each other. I watched even the Venezuelans today in the parking lot. The brother was asking for money all throughout. The sister stood and talked to him. His own. I said, see how they look out for them themselves. They'll look out for each other. Us, we turn our nose up. We turn our nose up at each other. But I watch other nationalities because we of the same nation. I'm a Mexican, you a Mexican. Ain't I'm light skinned, I'm mixed. They are not saying none of that nonsense that we say. They know who they are. So brothers, it's time. Y'all got to get it together. Or just put it down because you're against the prophet and the temple. And you should cease from wearing your turban and fez. Return to the state where the prophet found you. Islam. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Know yourself and your Father God Allah. You have to know yourself first before you can know God. Sorry. You got to know yourself first. Because you can't know the God in you if you don't know you. And knowing you is not knowing your name, the color of your eyes, the color of your hair. Like literally know you. Know the things that you know ain't right about you. So that lower self and that higher self. You can't run from it because you can't lie to yourself. That's all I'm going to keep saying. You can't lie to yourself. So know yourself and your Father God Allah. Because you can't lie to yourself. Islam, you can't lie to yourself. Know yourself and your Father God Allah that you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man needs to worship under his own vine and fig tree. It's the uniting of Asia. Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed. See, we got to be faithful. That faithful word is serious. Because no matter what in the Bible, from Moses on down, guess what their main thing was? Noah could have been a town drunk. All of these things, Job, this, that, this, and that. Their faithfulness to the Most High was the most important. No matter what, they stayed faithful. So no matter what their flaw was, they stayed faithful. So you can look at their flaw from the outside, but you have no idea what their relationship is with Allah on the inside. You can't dictate it because ain't nobody dictating to you your relationship with Allah. So don't try to tell nobody what their relationship with Allah is. How about check your own weeds in your own backyard before you ever come telling somebody what their relationship with him is. Islam, that's why you're faithful. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds, that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, least they would be confounded of their sin. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving. And they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause the confusion in the minds of those that do believe. I want to stop right there and talk about that because it's some people that be on these platforms and they just don't let nothing go. They just still talking about folks they've been talking about for the past 2 years. It's like if you haven't gotten any business about yourself by now, that's sad. That means that you are doing just what this is saying. That you're an evil spirit, you're an evil spirit, and it's moving, and you're trying every weak mind. You're trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid. Because if you still talking about folks that ain't even talking about you, and you still try to be involved in people's business from 2-3 years ago that are still doing what they gotta do. As long as them temple doors is open, that's all that matters. You can try to beat down and tell somebody what they not, but their faithfulness is what's keeping them doors open. They show up and make sure that them doors are open. So as long as the temple doors are open, that's what's important. Maybe because you don't like the way they move or the way they rock or whatever it may be. But everybody may not like the way you do things either. But get your own weeds out your own backyard and leave people alone. Because people are doing what they're supposed to do. Now you do what you're supposed to do. Because if not, it sounds like you one of these evil spirits. It's wrong. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your profit. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Watch them. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. So you see, he even says that they really ridicule him to the very lowest. And these are the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. So even those that have their temples, man, as long as they're following this movement, they're following what the prophet brought, tracing themselves back. You can't tell them what they're doing wrong unless you over there in the temple with them. And if you got so much time to be worried about what they're doing in their temple, you don't have enough business of your own then. Don't point a finger out when you don't have three to point back at yourself. Islam, I had to make that be known because it's crazy. We have so much work to do, but yet we're just the people that so-called have power, whatever they want to call it. I don't even know if it's power at this point. They're just not doing their part. They're not doing their part to help the movement. So as the women and as the sisters, as I say, if I gotta be on here by myself, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do the class. I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna demonstrate as Allah calls me to demonstrate. It may not be everybody's demonstration. It may not be for everybody, but I'm gonna demonstrate. And I want my people to know. I'm tired of my people walking around without the knowledge. Like what Public Enemy says, we're all the same. No, we're not the same because we don't know the game. Fight the power. Ain't that what he said? No, we're not the same because we don't know the game. But my people need to know the game. It's not a game. And if people were doing what they were supposed to do, standing on their squares and demonstrating in the way they would, then so many people wouldn't turn a blind eye to us and turn their noses up because of so much drama that goes on. Nah, this is solid. And the reason why they're trying to steer everyone away, because they don't want you to know. So that has to make us ask. Those are our enemies, dear Moors. Those are our enemies. They look like us, but they ain't us. They be right in the temple with us, but they ain't us, y'all. They ain't us. Islam. Divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work and in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Islam says failure to obey these we are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So redeeming us from our sinful ways, y'all, so that we're able to operate and demonstrate as free people. This is why he came back to bring this to us. So we don't have to walk around talking about, when we gonna be free? Is it gonna always be like this? No. He gave it to us. He brought it to us. It's just whether we gonna activate it. He brought us our master state and birthright. It's your birthright. You don't need nobody to come and give that to you. So, if this is what we know, this is what we're looking to do, we have to Moabitess Bay. Who's that? Oh wait. We have to we're gonna have to step into the plate. I just keep saying that I still think it's gonna take all women because it's going back to the matriarch. It's gonna take each and every one of us women. I don't care what your faith background is, it's gonna take each and every one of us to start teaching and to start out here giving this message, spreading the holy breath, the message to the four corners of the world. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't, because none of this was just made for only one person, like it says even in the Circle 7. This ain't just for Jew and Greek. This is for all. This is a universal message. It ain't just a message just for us, y'all. This is a universal message for all. And it's a message of love, learning to love yourself. It's not telling you to hate nobody. It's just teaching you to love yourself first before you want to go out and love a stranger that ain't got nothing to do with you. Love you first. This is what this is teaching you. Because when you allow this body to dictate, then you have fallen in your lower self. And that's the shadow goes. Stop blaming the shadow, the enemy. Stop blaming them and start looking at yourself. How can you fix this? How can you shift it? Because nobody's coming to shift it for you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. No Sky Daddy exists, y'all. You got to find that within yourself. Find that within you. You activate that within you, I promise you, it's all there for you. So as I close out this meeting tonight, I love each and every one of y'all. And I'm going to always keep calling to my sisters, to my mamas, to my sisters, to everybody. We must start teaching these holy breath, speaking it, giving the gospel, the good news, in whatever way that is. We have to bring this love back, and it's gonna take us. It's gonna take the matriarch. I'm sorry, the brothers just are not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. I don't care what happens. They're not gonna do it. Because if they were gonna do it, they would be doing it. And stop making excuses of why they're not. Right? So this is on us, sisters, ladies, family. This is on us. And if you don't have no relationship with the Most High, I feel sorry for you, because with the stuff that's going on, you should want a connection with some kind of way. Law and order, Islam, law and order. That's what this is about. And we got to bring it. The double-edged sword. We got to bring it. Like I said, it doesn't matter what your background is. As long as you, because baby, I promise you, if you start going through this stuff, the truth just comes out anyway. Truth never changes or passes away. It's always there. It will always be. And the truth is, the story, the missing link is about us, the woman, the sister, this so-called thing that doesn't exist because it's just the father and the son. No, the mama. Very important. That's why they keep wiping it away. They don't want you to know Isis. They don't want you to know Mayat. They don't want you to know those degrees of the woman, of the mother. They want you to keep thinking this is so patriarchal. No, it's not. It started with us. Now it's time for us to come back and do what we need to do. We are the silent brotherhood. Islam, definitely. Because all I say, silent brotherhood and all white, them brothers seeing some more brothers in all white didn't scare them. That's not why they fell to the ground. Them people seen sisters coming and didn't unsheath no sword. You see women coming in all white and they ain't did none of this. They ain't unsheathed nothing. They kept it right there. They kept it right there. That's how much of a secret they want to keep all this from us as sisters. Because they have no control. They have no self-control. Our brothers don't even have self-control. Keyword silent. Girl silent, be quiet. Ain't even gotta say a word. Did your mama ever have to say a word? She just give you a look. She ain't have to say nothing. That's her silent brotherhood. You was scared of just that look. Like I wish you would. Touch it. It was the look. That ain't never came from no brother. It's always when my mama looked at me, I straighten up. I straighten up. My mama look, oh yeah. So that's how you know that that's key point. What? Silent. You ain't seen no brothers marching down no place in a single file line. And some other brothers ain't about to come on the attack for you. Really? Had to be sisters. So we have to stop with this lie that all this stuff is brothers. Because it's not. The brothers need to be fixed. The brothers need help. The brothers need to get it together and stand in the affairs of men so that we can be in the affairs of men right along with them. You mayor, well, we gonna be over there and be the assistant. Whatever. We're supposed to make all this work together, y'all. So I know you gonna get mad. You probably gonna put your little YouTube videos up and your Facebook lives and say whatever you gonna say about Sister Latay. But y'all, if y'all ain't figured it out, I really don't care. Because the brothers need to be called out. I worked hard raising my 4 sons. To have to be in a world full of ratchet women and goofball brothers. Where I can't say, hey, I can send y'all over here to talk to this brother. No, you too busy chasing tail. You don't even have time to help the youth. You want to put on like you helping them, but you ain't got time. You too busy chasing tail. Do you have to have a certain amount of badges to go live? No, I don't think so. I'm gonna tell you how to go live. I'm gonna give you the I'm gonna have to send you the video on how you can get on live. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you because it's a certain thing you gotta go in the back and do so you can get up there. So yes, y'all. So I need Vashira to come on here. Like I want some more people. Like Sunday, I would love to have a guest of some type, Sakina, Vashira, Mother Witherspoon, my cousin Rachel, to come on and give a demonstration on the conditions of this world right now. And where it's going or what you see or how we can bring things together. I would sure love to know. I would sure love to know. I would sure love your input. Because as I said, it's going to take all of us. It can't just be one. It can't be two. It's going to take all of us. All of us. Islam, and I do mean all of us. So I look forward. Oh, Islam. I look forward to you guys coming back on Sunday and just coming in and just let's raise these ethers. I want you to exercise your 5 senses, all 5 of them, all 5, 6 if you got to. You know what I'm saying? So come on back on Sunday. We're gonna do Sunday school early, probably about 9:30. I want to say 9:30 if that's not too early. And I would love for you guys to come on and give some demonstrations for that day. If you don't mind, I love you all. I hope you have a great Friday, the rest of your evening. Happy holy day to all the Muslims all over the world and to all my people. Islam. I would like to close out. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We're going to turn to the east. It's going within. We put our 5 fingers on the left, 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another. So peace is really like this, y'all. Peace is not like this because that separates us. Peace, we should be together. We should be together, not separate, together. So even your hand signals are important in the way you do everything. Islam, so we stand on that seven with our heels touching one another, like it's on a square. We're standing on our square. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, Islam, Islam. I will see y'all Sunday so we can continue this amazing conversation. Islam. So have a great rest of your night, y'all. Hope to see you soon. Peace and love.